Welcome to the sanctuary where good pods happen. I am PD Bachman, and I am joined today by Bran. It's the PD and Bran show.
Backed by popular demand, PD.
PD and Bean, if you will.
PD and Bean. Wow, wow, wow.
PD and Bean does sound like a morning radio show.
It does. I'll give you a quick traffic update. All the traffic is going to the Making the Merge podcast feed. Everybody's listening, PD.
Now you sound like Rob a little bit.
A little bit, yes.
The Making the Merge podcast.
Forever remembered.
Yeah, so I kicked Chase off of this episode, and there's a reason for that. See, me and Chase together, I feel like we bring out the worst in each other.
No.
You don't agree with that?
I mean, I think it's always helpful when there's a third to balance out the crazy, but yeah, no, I don't think you guys bring out the worst. I don't think that's fair.
I just felt like the way the podcast was going that I needed to suspend Chase for a week, and I needed to bring on the most optimistic member of our podcast, and I believe that to be you.
I am pretty optimistic. That is true. Maybe it's maybe I'm naive. Maybe it's the lack of experience that I have on this show and in Survivor in general, but I am pretty optimistic. That is true.
But it's a good thing, and we need that, like you said, to balance us out. So that's why you're here. And look, Bran, I've got to read a review that it leads me to. Great. The review, it's nice, but it leads me to a larger point, which is, you know, why you're on the show today. So it is from Bree, B-R-E, and it says, please. The title of the review is just please. Okay. It says, I love this podcast. And will listen to every episode, but please, I beg you, stop yelling. It hurts my ears and is unpleasant. I agree. I think maybe we've gotten a little carried away recently.
Bree, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're. Is this? Am I overcorrecting?
I think maybe just a little bit.
Okay. I do understand what Bree is talking about, but I also think it's part of our charm. You know, I mean, maybe we can cut back a little bit, and by we, I mean mainly Chase, but I do understand where she's coming from, and I will do our best to try to maybe not yell every episode about everything.
Yeah, look, we were just in a bad headspace after Mary went home.
Headspace.
I think, you know, Bran was a little more level-headed than me and Chase, but I think overall it was just, look, we love Mary so much. Mary got sent home. It had a really bad effect on us in that 24-hour period. Now that I've had a little bit of time to step back, I feel like, you know, I love this cast. I've had so much fun this season.
100%. And I think Bree understands where we're coming from. It's from a place of love that the anger comes. If you didn't love something or didn't love people, then you would never get angry. And so really you should think of it as a compliment.
Yeah, that, you know what? See, that's why I brought you on, Bran.
See?
And the other thing, I want to compare, this is like a look into our mental state by comparing our podcast titles from last year to this year. Okay. So it's going to give you a glimpse into the different headspace that we're in. So here's our season 47 podcast titles, episode 8 through 11. Soul's beautiful smile. He's thrusting again. Soul's sexy vest. Caroline has ADHD and so do we. And here's season 48. Shut up and save yourself. Twice the tribal, double the pain. Eternal demonic prison. Time is running out. So, what jumps out to you there?
Well, I think it's definitely darker. But again, this is what it goes back to. This season, for all of the complaints that we have, and there have been many, and many repeating themes, if you will, especially over the past few weeks, such as somebody has to make a move. I think what we see here, though, is once again it comes back to love. We love the game, and this frustration is coming from a love of people that we've maybe lost along the way, some fallen brothers and fallen sisters. And last year there was, I think, some more lovable characters that made it a bit further. I'm getting concerned, and I think you are as well, PD, that we're going to get to the final episode and we're going to have no one to cheer for.
It is interesting. If you look, did you see the episode titles got released? Did you see what the final episode title was?
I did. I saw it, but I don't recall what they were. Do you have them in front of you?
The first one was Icarus Time. That's next week. So that's interesting. And then the week after that, it's only one of yous is going to win.
Only one of yous is going to. So, I mean, that. I don't want to get too far ahead, but that does lead me to believe that Joe and Eva are in the finals. That's what I would take.
And or Shaheen and Kyle. But at this point, I'm thinking Shaheen.
I think so as well. I have hope that it is Shaheen.
You might make the playoffs in your first Making the Merge appearance.
If you're not first, you're last, PD. That's my thought process going into this.
Well, actually, if you are last, you have to read every BHANU confessional. I don't know if we've stressed
but that's kind of a win for me, you know.
I guess if you're excited to read 12 minutes of BHANU confessionals, and it's not going to be all at once. We're going to break it up into like 30-second to 1 minute installments. But either it's looking like you or Chase, because if Mitch goes home, Chase loses the draft. If Shaheen goes home, you lose it. So one of you is going to have to go through the entire BHANU journey.
It's an interesting dilemma for sure, because just from a strength of game perspective, I would say that Shaheen's going to make it to the finals. But if past few seasons is any indication, the third chair there in final council is left for somebody who's not going to get any votes. The lamb led to slaughter, if you will, which would be Mitch. And so it is possible that I would in that scenario have to read the BHANU, which again, I do that every night anyway, so I'm fine.
Which it would be fun. Last night I was just going through and looking, and man, for somebody who was the fourth boot, 12 minutes is a lot of time.
That's a lot.
Usually you do not get that much.
He's a star, PD. He's a star.
That's right. BHANU is like my white whale for this podcast. It's never going to happen. I don't think he's very online. I've seen him out a couple times, like in TikToks. He's hanging out with Ben Katzman, but it's hard to track down BHANU. But one day, I'm going to reel him in for Making the Merge.
The problem with BHANU is he is so lovable that, you know, he is somebody that I want to see play the game again, but he's also so bad at the game that there's no way that he gets to play again.
It was very much like while we were going through it, I really felt like, you know, I was out on an island. No pun intended.
If you will.
Everybody hated BHANU. If you see the ratings actually shot up after he went home, everybody's like,
wow.
He's gone now? There was an increase in the ratings, and I was like, I think I was the only person who was like, guys, this is the closest thing we will ever have to Michael Scott on Survivor.
100%. BHANU's tops. It's going to be great.
Yeah, enough about BHANU. Bran, I want to call this Survivor therapy. I asked you for your top reasons to be excited for the last two episodes.
I do want to pull back the curtain a little bit here and be honest that this took me a lot longer than I anticipated. I was going to go into this blind and just be like, I can come up with something, but then I was having a hard time, like in my mind, even coming up with a number two. So I was like, all right, let me give this some proper time. So I have four reasons why we, as Survivor fans and Making the Merge listeners, could be excited about these final two episodes, because it is looking bleak, and I think we can all acknowledge that going into these final two episodes, it's tough to get excited for it. I'm in the same boat, everybody.
Yeah, but we're trying.
Boat. So here is my. I'm going to start with number 4. With only Mitch left on Chase's team, it makes it almost impossible for Chase to repeat. And that means that he will almost, and this is not good news for Bree, but will almost definitely crash out again, which is fun for us. And so I'm going to start there. I think Chase has the lowest percentage chance of pulling off a victory, just given who he has left. And that's great for us. We don't want him to repeat. I think even the listeners, even the Chase stands out there, want it to be a little mix up here. We don't want to repeat, and it's good for us when he crashes out. It's fun for us.
But
and
the
so that's
thing
just
is,
yeah.
If he won, he would also scream. He would probably scream more
That's
if he
true.
won, I feel like. So, Bree,
That's true.
You should be thrilled that Chase is not going to win, because I'm pretty sure when he won last year, he got on and he screamed for 2 minutes about Rachel and him winning the draft. It was set to the Lombardi music, which I'm going to have to find something different this year, because I'm not going to use NFL films again, but I got to do it once.
We did it once. I do understand that. I think a crash out is always more fun than a victory lap, though, right?
Plus, if we back to back, nobody wants Chase to win
no
twice
one wants
in a
that.
row.
No one wants that. I think what everybody wants is obviously for me to win as my first year. That'd be big. Okay, number 3. And this might be number 1, but number 3. And I had this realization last week while I was watching as David stood up and I was waiting for something to happen. Nothing did happen. He was just standing and paying his respects. But it got me excited for Final Tribal because David will get to finally articulate all of the thoughts that have been going through his head as he is just staring, beaming those eyes, those death eyes at people. And I can't wait to hear what it is that he says, whether it's a question, whether it's a statement, whatever it is. I am here for David talking at Final Tribal, and I think that alone is worth tuning in for. Am I wrong here?
You are not wrong. The jury, this is like the one thing that I was going to say if you didn't say it. The jury is one of the biggest reasons to be excited because they're going to be bitter. You got Chrissy and David, and you know that they're not going to just keep their opinions to themselves.
100. I mean, we've already heard, I think, twice what Chrissy is going to say. She's going to repeat it. But, of course I'm excited for to bring back Chrissy speaking. But really, I just want to know what is going through David's mind as he's watching all of the and Mary, yes, and Mary now, of course, yes. But David has just been the past couple weeks. David has just been, I don't even know how to. I've never seen anything like it. Just so angry and
performatively.
Yes, performatively angry, and I have no doubts that it's going to come through in Final Tribal.
It's not like he's just deciding to do these things in the heat of the moment. Like when he kept the same facial expression the entire Tribal, he thought about that all day. He was probably practicing it in the mirror, and then the standing thing.
You gotta practice. It doesn't. You don't meow like that without. You don't meow like that, Petey, without practicing it, for sure.
And then Mary's outfit. I feel like Mary's going to have like Saul-level outfits for the jury.
100%. Yeah. Mary's going to be fire. Okay, I got 2 more. One, at some point my guess would be it's possible that they keep it for the final episode, but it's going to be revealed that Kyle and Camilla have been teaming up. Is it going to matter? I don't think it is. And I'm like weirdly excited for it to finally come out and for them to just be like, oh, okay. Or for David to stand up and be like, I told you. I'm excited to see what happens when it finally comes out that they've teamed up and have done nothing with it.
They did one thing, and they broke up Joe's first alliance. It kind of foiled Shaheen and Joe's plan for a second. They got one victory over him, and then it was just follow the leader for the rest of the game.
It has been like the biggest, not the biggest, but one of the bigger storylines this season is this secret partnership of Camilla and Kyle. And every episode, they basically, one of them looks at the other one and is like, "Can you believe we're pulling this off?" And us at home are like, yeah, we can, because you're not doing anything with it.
You successfully pulled it off for like a stretch of a few weeks, and now it's just like, yeah, you kept a secret, but there's no need to keep the secret anymore. It's not like you guys are plotting anything other than doing exactly what Joe wants. I think that's the biggest letdown, even though I'm trying to be really positive about the game today, because Camilla and Kyle, are both people that I was looking at as like, these are the prototypical Survivor players. These are the people you want to draft that are smart and under the radar and always thinking of where to go next. And then they kind of just, Kyle really ruined that with his, emotional connection to Joe and Eva.
Yeah, listen, sometimes you forget that you had a plan and you get to know people, and then you're like, oh, I forgot that I had a plan.
But trying to keep positive, it is.
Yes.
It's real people. It's real emotions. They're on an island for several weeks. Crazy things happen to your brain. I'm sure it was very difficult. And Mary, we're going to talk about it later, but Mary highlighted that she thinks Kyle, he's a sweetheart. He didn't want to hurt people, and she doesn't fault him for it.
What do you think it's a bigger reaction? Kyle telling Camilla that he's a lawyer, or Kyle and Camilla telling people that they were a team?
I think Camilla's reaction to the lawyer thing probably is because David sniffed out the Camilla and Kyle thing, so did Mary, and so other people have probably talked about it too, and we just haven't seen it.
Yeah, the thing I do want to know, and I'm sure we'll maybe find out, it might be after the season, but have people, now that David and Mary are gone, is that still a conversation around camp? Is Joe and Eva and Shaheen talking about this? Are they like, do you think like there was something to that? Was like, I also like, how much is that partnership between Camilla and Shaheen? Because that was one of the things that David was onto as well, is that Shaheen picked Camilla for that reward or whatever it was. I don't even remember at this point. And that's when he was like, they're teaming up.
That was the challenge when he had the horrible answer.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was the challenge when you could pick anybody, and
he's like,
he picked Camilla.
She looked at me. She was there.
Yeah. Is it like, are they more of a team than we've seen so far? I don't know. Because I don't feel like we've seen a ton of them working together, or, I feel like over the past couple of weeks when there is the conversation of like, should we make the move? Like Shaheen is always like in the conversation, but I don't see him and Camilla like really working together, but it's possible that we're just not seeing that.
Look, Camilla, if you really want to make this move, then go get a new Giga Chad. Choose Shaheen as your new Giga Chad.
There you go. He's ready to make a move. I don't think it's going to happen, but no. I do think it is still possible that this week is the week. It's a low percentage chance. And this is even one of my things, but I am hopeful. Call it naivete, call it whatever you want to. Blind optimism, maybe. There is a 10% chance that a move gets made this week, and it's led by Shaheen, and it brings him to the finish line.
I'll take 10%, brother. I'll take it.
There you go. I'll take that 10%. Can you imagine?
Believe in it.
He finally gets moving. Maybe he sniffs out that Kyle and Camilla are a team, and he's like, "Great, I can get those two." Mitch will obviously come along. Maybe not actually. I don't know what the heck Mitch is thinking. But if Shaheen can make this move, if Shaheen can make a move, granted, it's reliant on Joe not winning immunity. It's reliant on Eva not playing the immunity for Joe if he doesn't win immunity. There are so many ways for Joe and Eva to get to final counsel.
Yep, and there was something in the preview about Kyle saying something about Shaheen's trying to flip to Joe. So what's that about? I don't know.
It's probably nothing. If I've seen Survivor once, I've seen it a million times. It's probably nothing. Okay, my number one, and it gets down to that title episode of the season finale, but Eva and Joe can't both win.
One of you's got to win.
One of you's has got to win. And I think that's interesting enough theater, right? It's like you have these two that have been so connected since day one, like literal day ones. You had this powerful moment on the beach where Jeff cries, and we had to see it on social media every hour of every day for a week.
We all cried, and that's what makes it so funny about how everyone feels now.
I know, we all cried, and we've seen how much they are truly not only a team, they are as open of a team as I've seen on Survivor in a long time, where they are just like, We are each other's number one, and we're going to bring people along with us, but just know when it comes down to it, it's the two of us.
Yeah, it's the two of us and two people making fire.
At the end of the day, Eva and Joe are going to have to make cases for why they deserve it more than the other person. And I don't know how they're going to do it. I can absolutely see Joe being like, I don't deserve it more than Eva, and then him still winning. Like, I think that still is very, very much possible.
That's the whole thing about Final Tribal is you keep someone close to you, but you're trying to make a couple moves on them that they don't even know about, so that when you get there, you can be like, hey, so this is my closest ally, but they didn't know that I had this idol, or they didn't know that I planned this, or whatever. And Joe and Eva don't have that. So what are they going to do to try to disparage each other?
Do you think, like, is there a better case for Eva than there? Like, I feel like perception is that Joe's kind of running the game, but if you look at what Eva has done, like, Eva has gotten a lot of advantages, and everybody's picking her for rewards and all of this stuff. Like, is there a case to be made that Eva is more worthy to win Survivor 48 than Joe?
I think so. And I'm not just saying that because she's on my team. I think that she has also been calling the shots, it feels like, as much as Joe has. You know, freely speaking about, like, this person's got to go, this person's got to go, and then it happening pretty much every time. I feel like, I feel like her case, what it would need to be is, and I don't know if she would do this, but she needs to look at Joe and be like, I made it to where this man would die for me and take me through the game and be seen as the leader, you know, and get the brunt of everyone's hate that gets voted out. And then I was able to just make it all the way to the end without much of a struggle at all.
Yeah.
I think that's what she should try to present.
I think it's always tough when you're that close with somebody, though, when you go into Final Tribal and you're trying to, like, make a case, like, but I don't know, it's really tough. I'm interested, like, I think it should make for good theater, and I do think the two of them have obviously played such a close game, and it makes it really hard to pick one over the other, and so I think it really could go either way. And if Eva was smart, she'd turn on him. She'd flip. She'd pull a Charlie, and she'd get rid of him. Like that would be the play. But I don't think that she would do that. So
no. But Mary, and this is in a different interview. We're about to talk about the Entertainment Weekly one. But she was asked by, I think it was Gordon Holmes, would you have voted for Shaheen over Joe if at that point in the game, like if y'all were voting right then? And she said yes. Because she thought that Shaheen played the better game and was trying to do more stuff.
Okay, so it's not just, like, we talked about it a little bit in the last episode, but, like, Shaheen says that he should win. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, the only thing I know you've done has been in secret. So it's like, I don't know. But if Mary is thinking it, then it's possible that others are as well.
Now we're going to talk about Mary's exit press. Shout out to Dalton Ross with Entertainment Weekly. The first thing I want to read was, let's start with David. Why not? Okay. We love talking about David on this show. Dalton asked her, what was the reunion with David and the others like at Ponderosa? And she said, I'm going to be honest, Dalton. When I was on that boat going back to Ponderosa, I thought to myself, wow, I'm really going to be like Venus. Love a good Venus shout out. I'm really going to be someone who has no friends after this experience, because the last 2-3 days that I was out there, I felt like a pariah. It looked as if people were talking to me, but especially the last couple of days, it was as if people would be infected by my cooties if they made eye contact with me. And so when I was on the boat, I was just thinking to myself, damn, I'm going to have to go to these viewing parties, and I have zero connection to any of these people. So she was already thinking about the viewing parties. That's hilarious. But then when I got to Ponderosa, Cedric, Chrissy, David, and Star were standing outside, and I saw them, and she started to tear up, just like Star did when she was discussing the same experience. And Mary says, yeah, it meant a lot to me. It really, really meant a lot to me, because I thought, wow, these people actually care. after feeling like nobody cared about me for a really long time. So it was so much fun. We stayed up maybe till 1 or 2 in the morning. Everybody just out there eating, drinking, talking, laughing. I'm so grateful for my time at Ponderosa because I think I took a beating out there. And when I got to Ponderosa is really when I did a lot of healing.
Oh, how about that? I got to be honest. I don't know how to like equate 1 or 2 a.m. like in relation to like even when tribal is. I have no idea if that's late or not, but she seems impressed by it, so
Yeah.
I'll go with late.
It seems like they were.
What time do you think they do
hard.
tribal? What time do you think?
I think right after it gets dark, but it doesn't do that in Fiji.
I know that's the tricky thing. So really, they could do it any time because we all know the darkness is artificial. It's artificial darkness.
It was something created by Jeff Probst.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, guys. A lot of people probably have no idea what we mean. People who jumped on the last few weeks. Chase Bridges was confused about whether nighttime happened in Fiji. It's a real thing that happened on our show.
It's still so funny.
Yeah. Go listen to if you're new, go listen to the first episode because not only did Chase think it didn't get dark, he thought that they decided to begin season 48 by saying rest in peace to Rudy, which did not happen.
But while we're at it, rest in peace, Rudy.
Yeah, rest in peace, Rudy.
Rest in peace, Rudy. I do like the idea of Jeff Probst creating artificial darkness. We all know about AI, but have you heard about AD? It is it's trademarked by Jeff Probst.
But I think that for as annoying as some of those people, or we got annoyed by some of those people who were at Ponderosa over points of the season, but it seems like they were all such a supportive group that they kind of let the game go a little bit. We'll see about that at Final Tribal.
Right. No, I appreciate that, especially it was obviously very sad when Mary got voted out, and the idea of her, spending that whole boat ride, again, no idea how long that takes. I'm not familiar with the travel time, but her just thinking I'm gonna go, I don't have any friends here. No one wants to be my friend, basically. To going back and feeling like, oh, I do have friends. Yeah. It's that makes me happy.
And shout out to Venus. I love that she mentioned Venus. Venus was one of my favorite New Era players. She was so funny. Do you remember much of Venus from 46?
No.
She did make it into the merge. She was voted out pretty quickly after. But the thing about Venus was she was horrible socially, but she was so confident. And it made for a really entertaining player. But it seems like...
yes, Venus.
Okay, so you do remember.
Yes.
She was a Jonathan pick.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, Jonathan said that she was one of his Survivor nightmares, but I thought it was a great time watching her. And she beefed with people on Twitter pretty hard. But that's what Mary's referring to here when she says, I'm going to be like Venus, meaning I'm just going to be yelling at people on Twitter and I'm not going to have friends. But that didn't happen.
Venus did not have this nice reunion with the cast.
No. And that's that was one of the reasons I loved season 46. Because the New Era, it was very kumbaya. And we all love each other, and we all just, basically, after the season's over, go live together and travel the world. And then 46 was like, hey, we all hate each other and have deep resentment over what happened over this 4-week period. And it was such a change of pace.
That's right, and don't you dare play an idol. You're not allowed.
Yeah, that was the other thing about 46. 46 is my favorite New Era season by far.
A great season.
First one you ever watched, right? First season of Survivor you ever watched?
First season I ever watched.
Oh, what a good hook.
But we weren't, I say we, you guys weren't podcasting 46, were you?
We were not.
You drafted it, but you didn't podcast it.
Yeah, we were in our group chat. We were filming 15-second reaction videos to the vote outs and stuff to try to make our first piece of Survivor content for YouTube, which you saw and it brought you to us.
I saw. I'm very excited. I don't want to get ahead of it. We still have 2 more weeks left, but I am excited to go back into the archives, whatever we're calling it. I believe we're going to go back after this season. Yeah, I mean, I think it's another reason to get involved with the Patreon for sure. I think the plan, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is to put it up for a vote for the Patreon community to see which season of Survivor it could be. We could go back to season 1 for all we care, but it's going to be up to the people to let us decide, hey, in between season 48 and 49, what's a season of Survivor that we should watch and cover. And I think it's going to be really fun, and the patrons will get a chance to decide which season that is. So join the Patreon community. If for no other reason, you get an amazing chat during the episodes, but you'll also get to decide what we're going to do after this season, which is really great.
Absolutely. And we're not going to tell you what the name of the show is called. We're not going to tell you which seasons are going to be up for a vote. Just know it's going to be 4 classics. You will decide.
Classics. There you go.
Back to Mary. So, okay, more David. We're going to talk a little more David. So you and David seem really close in the game. And I asked him about that 2 weeks ago, and he said, Mary sort of latched on to me. And me and Chase talked about this, and we roasted David, being like, no, that's not what happened. But it was Mary inserting herself into the group and then attaching herself to me. And it just came to a point where I was like, I can't do anything about Mary. She's here. We might as well use her for a number. She was always going to be the 6th boot, which I don't think was ever truly clarified. Was that ever clarified to you? And then Mary says, David saying that was hilarious. I love David. Let me just preface that. But from the first day of New Logie, David, Eva, and I collectively agreed that we were going to work together and join forces. It was mutually beneficial, and that was a group decision. Eva and David wanted numbers, and I wanted people who would work with me, who I could trust. Eva and David were the first people since day 5 when Kevin got voted out who wanted to work with me, who I felt like I could trust. I think a lot of people don't realize the desperation that I felt. Also the desperation that I think anybody coming from Vula or Survive Vula would have felt. I had continuously been on the bottom, and I know people are going to be like, how many times is this bitch going to say she was on the bottom? It was true. It was true. I was. And when David and Eva wanted to work with me, listen, if you're selling, I'm buying, especially people who I can tell really value being honest. Eva has been incredibly honest this entire game. She literally was like, hey, sorry, I can't protect you. Also, the reason I asked Eva if she would use the idol on me is because when she got the idol, she was like, hey, I'm going to use the idol on you or us. It's our idol. So I was just shooting my shot.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Eva kind of pitched it as a community thing, and that involved Mary.
It's a communal idol.
So what do you think about... So you listened to me and Chase talk about David calling Mary clingy. Mary just won't go away, trying to get rid of her. And then Mary's like, look, I came from a tribe that had been completely wiped out, and I was desperate. What's your take?
Obviously, we only get to see so much. But Mary's version of this story does seem to... hold a little bit more water, if you're asking me. This is what it seemed like. It seemed like we get a tribe swap, right? And our guy David was in heaven. He's just around women. I don't know if you remember this. He has sisters, and is very comfortable around women. And I think that happened, right? Like
it seemed like
Mary,
he bonded with all of them.
Yes, he bonded with all of them, and. So I can absolutely see the 3 of them being like, Eva being like, hey, I got to sing with Joe. We need numbers. Come on in. Great, wonderful, fantastic. And I can absolutely see, I don't buy the fact that David was somehow annoyed that Mary was around. That is, if he was annoyed... he's a better actor than we could ever give him credit for, because not only did he not seem annoyed by it, he seemed quite taken by the fact that Mary was around him all the time. And I'm not trying to insinuate anything. All I'm saying is, outside looking in, it did not seem like Mary was the clingy one in the relationship, and I will leave it at that.
No, I don't think so. And this leads me to a TikTok that I want to play from Mary.
It's really crazy because I thought that saying what I said on the island, I would get the results that I wanted. Because usually in my everyday life, when I tell a man to use me, works out for everyone. Fun for everyone. I know what's going to happen. But yeah, that's fine. They didn't want to do that out there, but I'll survive. Well, actually, I won't. But that's okay too. And yeah, I think I'm getting the hang of this TikTok thing. If you guys like this, click the subscribe button and follow for more. Just kidding. This isn't YouTube. I'd be mixing up my social media. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye.
All right, you heard it from Mary. Subscribe to her TikTok.
Mary's one of the funniest people in the whole
is.
world. She's so great. That's what I think I'm getting at. What we did see is Mary kind of using David to.
She doesn't like to frame it that way, but
I understand. Yeah, and I know that's not necessarily what she's saying there, but she was able to, for better or worse, and worse for David, convince David that there was something going on, and that they should go push back against Kyle and Camilla and that whole situation and Shaheen, and he did, and out he went. And I think obviously Mary would have preferred David to stick around longer because he was a number with her, but to say that she's the clingy one there is wild.
I miss everybody. That's the problem right now, is that I miss everybody who gets voted out. I wish we got more of the David and Mary relationship just to see where it goes on the island for the last couple of weeks. It sucks that they both got voted out.
I would watch a David and Mary reality show.
Oh, me too. For
certain.
A David and Mary reality show where they're landlords.
I gotta be honest, I would even give The Amazing Race more than a 1 minute chance if David and Mary were a team.
Oh, absolutely. So let's read one last thing, because I don't want to make it all about David today. This is about Mary.
No, this is the Mary episode.
So from the edit, it looks like people maybe don't want to work with you, but it definitely doesn't give the feeling that you're being ostracized. Why do you think that was? Do you think it was just people were afraid to be seen talking to you? Was it that they just didn't want to hear your pitch? Do you think it was a personal issue they had? And Mary says, I knew it wasn't personal. I knew that with my head, but with my heart, there's a kind of a lag between head and heart. So all my heart could feel was that people didn't want to be around me. But I think the reason is what people said to me after the game. They were like, yo, we're sorry we didn't talk to you. We didn't want to work with you because we saw you as a threat. We didn't want to sit next to you at Final Tribal. And yeah, they didn't know that with a lot of Vula, I got lucky. It wasn't like I was this huge mastermind. I feel like throughout the game, everybody's like, she's this incredible mastermind. I don't think I'm an incredible mastermind. I think I'm scrappy, though. But people don't know that. They were just like, wow, she really survived. And so I think they didn't want to work with me for that reason. But also, you can see that everybody out there has day one connections. Those are all day one connections. And people at that point, it was tense because everybody, I feel like, wanted to prove their loyalty. I was talking to Shaheen, right? I was like, this isn't a game of out loyal, but everybody out there was so pressed on being loyal to each other that I think if they were really seeing and talking to me, it would increase paranoia and really splinter whatever plans or connections they had. And that's very interesting that she points out that I lost all my day one people and all these other people still have them. And that's what makes it so tough.
That for sure. People that have their day one still there, why would they? Why would they keep Mary around any longer? And the people that don't have anybody are too freaking afraid to do something. Mm-hmm. This isn't Mary being some sort of social outcast that can't make friends. She's very likable, and I think anybody who us looking watching the show are like, why are people not just teaming up with Mary? Mitch, Kyle, Camilla, Shaheen, you can do this. Mm-hmm. And Mary is the way to make it happen. Still get mad.
It's just a different group of people. I feel like we've all become accustomed to this is how you play Survivor, and you just do it's kind of like analytics in football. They're like Andy and Genevieve and all those people are constantly crunching numbers thinking, how do I get the most votes at the end? This season's not like that at all. And it's very different.
I honestly think if Mary had one more day on that island, she could have made it work. She waited one day too long to do the thing where Joe with Joe where she made Joe spiral out of control. If you do that one day earlier and you just kind of keep kind of poking that bear a little bit, I think you could have gotten the numbers, because part of the loyalty here is Joe is such a good guy. Joe is such a, like, we can trust Joe. But I don't know how you look at that edit and see Joe kind of spiraling out of control and not be like, ooh, maybe do I want to put all my eggs in this Joe basket? And you want to know one of my favorite things to come out of the exit interviews is the fact that she said that she didn't even see David stand up.
Oh, I almost skipped over that. Yeah.
she got, I want to say she got back to Ponderosa and Star or someone was like, can you believe David stood up? And she's like, what are you talking about?
Because it's probably just a blackout moment of like, my whole Survivor world just crashed in on itself and nothing is going. It's like, a flashbang situation in Call of Duty. You don't know what's going on.
I love that even in these moments where Mary is like having an out-of-body experience, she still is able to look back at the camera and do the peace sign as she walks away. Like, that's just her default.
She also said she did a little speech that they cut. I wish we would have gotten that, but...
Yeah. What can you do?
Yeah, she said, I expected to cry out of sadness, not out of laughter seeing David stand up. Yeah, shout out to Mary. We love Mary. And, Bran, we've all gotten musical, I guess, except you and Chase. I don't know if I heard this correctly, but I think you also did a little something.
I want to add a little clarification here. I think it's been misconstrued. Construed? Yeah. It's been misconstrued that I sent in a song today. It's not me. What happened here is I saw David stand up, and I thought that it was so interesting that I paused my TV, and one of the things you don't know about me is that I'm able to kind of enter into somebody's psyche in a moment like that.
Is that called channeling?
Yes, 100%. It's something that I do. I channel on the side. So I was able to channel David and kind of what was going through his mind in the moment as he stood up. And to say it was sad, that it was bleak would be an understatement, but weirdly enough, what I was able to channel was a song. So again, It's not me, it is David, but I can see how you got there. But yes, this is a song from David about Mary. Yes.
Okay. Well, excuse what I said earlier. We have a song from David. David from season 48 of Survivor has sent a song to Making the Merge. Let's hear it.
Give up an idol to keep you, though we know that Eva has them all. You're the closest to heaven Fiji's ever seen, and I don't want you to go home now. All I can see is that moment when you played your shot in the dark. Sooner or later they'll realize they should have sent you home tonight. And I don't want the world to see me when I cried out as Jeff snuffed your torch. All that I have is some cold milk, and I'll stand up to show my support. Mary deserves so much more. Survivor just became a war.
That's Taps playing it out, which I think is really beautiful.
Oh, Bran. I mean, I got it wrong again.
Right.
David, thank you for the beautiful song. I enjoyed that so much. Thank you, David.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful, David. Thank you for sending that in. And, I mean, I think all of that came through while he stood up. I think we felt all of those words, but to hear it, through the output of the Goo Goo Dolls, I think is a win for all of us.
And David must have known that we were going to talk about him so much in this episode that he should send in a song, and that's how we close the show. It's pretty brilliant by David. I think we haven't given David enough credit for being the brilliant guy that he is. The standing up, the singing the song, the everything he did. Thank you, David.
He's playing chess, man, when the rest of us are playing checkers.
But the pressure is on Chase. Because, Chase, do you want to reveal this? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. We're not going to necessarily play it, but should we allude to what he did?
This is all I'll say is that Chase hasn't had a song played on this season, but that doesn't mean he hasn't made one.
That's right. And it doesn't mean he hasn't made one, and it's so bad, according to him, because I have not – he sent it to you apparently, but I've not been allowed to hear it. He said that he hates it. And it's horrible, and that no one can ever see it.
How about this? And I feel secure doing this. How many patrons before the end of the season do we need to get to release the song without his permission?
Oh, what are we at now? We have 20, I want to say. Okay. 20 people in our chat. 30, 35, 40.
I think... Let's do 40 seems like a high enough now. Like that
if we double the Patreon.
If we double the patrons by
that's 2 weeks, right? Or how about
that's 2 weeks.
By the awards, by the Mergy Awards.
How about by the Mergy Awards. If it happens, then we will release it to the Patreon community.
And Chase will not have a say. Me and Bran have decided
he doesn't have a say.
Bran owns the network. He can't say no to Bran. He can say no to me, but he can't say no to Bran.
And what's he going to be like? Oh man, like no, that's not good. We got 40. We doubled the count, so you can't get mad at us.
Yeah, so you can comment, release the tapes if you want to, but if you really want to make the change, like Bran said, get in the Patreon chat. Wednesday night, everybody pops in there.
And I will. How about this? I will also be posting an acoustic version of the track that you just heard.
That's right.
Again, it will look like I don't need to get. Channeling is hard, so it's hard to explain it fully. It will look like me. And
it will look like Bran. It will not be Bran.
Yes, it will not be me. Yeah, but I'll put that in the Patreon community. So many reasons to join, and you can click that link in the description to do so.
If you join, you get David's new song. You get Jonathan's car recording of the Bianca song, and you get the full-length Camilla song plus the chat. And you can make
all 4 minutes of it.
All 4 minutes, and you can make Chase release the tapes. Kind of rhymes.
Release the tapes. Release the tapes.
All right. Thank you for tuning into the Sanctuary.
Chicken and waffles. Chicken and waffles.
This is where good pods happen, everybody. PD and Brand in the morning. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
You're about to hear some ads that help keep the lights on here in the old studio. Thanks for listening or don't listen. It's really up to you at this point. It's at the end of the show. I mean, you're listening to me. Hi. But here they come. I promise they're coming. Yep, here they are. Happy day.